Okay, boys and girls, today we are going to solve multiplication problems by using the strategy, draw a diagram. Alright, please read the story so we can start.
The school assembly room has 5 rows of chairs with 20 chairs in each row. If the 3rd grade classes fill 3 rows of chairs, how many 3rd graders are at the assembly?
Wow, this is a lot of drawing, isn't it? If we were to make our own arrays, we made 5 rows of 20 chairs. That's a lot of drawing, okay? So instead, they give you a graph. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll look at that here in a little bit, but first we need to get all the background information, all the information we need to know before we can even work out the problem. So the first thing is, what are we wanting to find? We need to find how many blank are at the assembly. What are we wanting to find? How many what are at the assembly, everybody?
3rd graders.
So write that down, 3rd graders. Alright, now, what information do I need to use? Well, they have 2 sentences for us. The first sentence says there are blank chairs in each row. By reading the story above, how many chairs are supposed to be in each row, everyone?
20.
20. And the 3rd graders will fill how many rows?
3.
3 rows of chairs. Okay. Now, how am I going to use this information? The distributive property tells me that I can blank the factor 20. When we do the distributive property, guys, that was like when we do 7 times 6, and we break apart the 7 into 5 times 2. Okay? This is the distributive property right here. Alright? So, they're saying the distributive property said you can blank the factor 20. What can we do with the factor 20? What did they do with the 7? Everybody? They broke it apart. So what can we do with the factor 20?
Break it apart.
Okay, so we can break apart the factor 20. So let's write that down. Break apart. Okay, so it breaks apart the factor 20, and we looked right here. We said the factor 20 can be broken apart into 2 tens. We know our answers when we multiply by 10, so that's what we can do. We are doing 20 times 3. So we're going to have 3 times 10 and 3 times 10. So 3 times 2 tens. Right, 2 tens in the parentheses. There's already 1 10 for you, so you just write the other 10. Then we're going to draw the diagram. Okay? Says, so the problem, dry diagram, finish the shading to show 3 rows of 20 chairs. They already shaded some for you. Okay? They shaded some for you. They shaded the 3 rows of 10 right here, which equals 30, right?
Yeah.
But we're supposed to do another 3 rows of 10. Remember, 3 times 10 and 3 times 10. So now you need to shade the other 3 rows of 10 right now with your pencil. Doesn't have to be too dark. Just get it done. And then, I'll tell you what to write. Okay, so we finished the shading. We had 3 rows of 10, and we have another 3 rows of what? 10. Okay, I can use the sum of the product of the smaller rectangles to find how many 3rd graders are at the assembly. 3 times 10 equals what? 30. And 3 times 10 again equals what?
30.
So then we're going to add the 2 30s together. 30
Plus 30 equals 60.
So 3 times 20 is
60.
So there are how many 3rd graders at the assembly?
60.
Okay. Okay, we said how breaking apart the factor 20 makes finding the product use facts I know. We said we use facts we know. We know our 10 facts better than we know 20 facts. To find the product. To find the product. Okay, next page. Let's read the problem.
Megan is watching a marching band practice. The band marches by with 4 rows of people playing instruments. She counts 30 people in each row. How many people march in the band?
Okay, what do we need to find? We said that the problem we need to find is just the question at the end. How many people march in the band? Now let's look at the information we need to use. What is the information that we know? Edmund, what information do we know?
There are 4 rows of people and 30 people in each row.
There are 4 rows of people. And 30 people in each row. Okay, so we can see there's a diagram on the next part for solve the problem. So we will use a diagram, yes, to break apart. What factor?
30.
Break apart 30 into how many tens? Or how many, into what?
10. 10 is 10.
Into 10
diagram?
plus 10 plus 10 times 4. Okay, now we're going to solve the problem by using the table or the diagram. Right now, boys and girls, you can see this is a big rectangle, right? You can kind of see that in that rectangle there are 2 darker blue lines. Do you see that?
Yes.
Those darker blue lines are separating tens, okay? Now we are saying we are doing 4 times 10 times 10. So if we're doing 4 times 10 times 10, times 10, and then 4 times 10, and then 4 times 10 again, how many rows are we going to be shading?
40.
How many rows are we going to be shading? How many rows? Guys, what's my first factor?
4.
So how many rows are we going to be shading?
4.
4. So you need to go up here and you need to shade those 4 rows down. Okay, now we don't know how many across yet, so don't go across. We don't know how many across yet, so do not go across. Okay, that 4 represents the 4 on the sides. There's going to be 4 rows. Now, we're doing 4 times 10. So how many in this first box are we going to shade? How many boxes, little boxes, are we going to shade in the first row, guys? Or in the first box for 4? 4 times what? 10. So this is going to be shading by 10. Yes, now you can go across. 4 times 10. Now, boys and girls, I know you know your multiplication facts. So what is 4 times 10?
40.
40. I want you to do that 3 more times because we're multiplying by 10 3 times. So you can do your shading and your multiplying. Okay, now the first step that we did is we first shaded 4 rows of 10. And then we did 10 more, and then we did 10 more. So that's why I'm going to write 10 plus 10 plus 10. Okay, then what did we do? We shaded all of our 4 rows of 10, and then we had to find do we find, guys? 4 rows of 10. What does that equal? Come on.
40.
Thank you. I found 4 times 10 equals 40. And then 4 times 10 equals 40 again. And 4 times 10 equals 40 again. We got to do it 3 times, right?
Yeah, next we need what?
Then I add those products together. Which is 40 plus 40 plus 40. What does that equal, guys? 3-1. What does 40 plus 40 plus 40 equal?
120.
120. So then we would do 4 times 30 equals 120 what? What was the thing that we were trying to find? What should the label be?
People.
People in the band. People in
That's a lot.
the band. That is a lot of people in a band.
Oh, in a
Okay, how can we check to see if our answer is reasonable? Callie said we can break apart the 2. Break apart the 4. Can break apart the 4. Instead of doing breaking apart the 30, we're breaking apart the 4 into 2 plus 2. And then we're going to be doing 2 times 30, which would equal what, guys? 2 30s is
40.
60. And then 2 times 30 again, which would be again 60. And then you would have to do what? After we do 2 times 30 equals 60 and 2 times 30 equals 60, what do we do next?
Add the product.
Okay. Add 60 plus 60, which is
120.
120 people. Okay, the next question says, explain how you can use the distributive property to help you find the product. And we said when we are looking at any problem, not the problem up above, but any problem, we look at the factor. So we will find the factor that breaks apart into 2 addends that we can easily multiply by. Okay, then we will multiply the 2 addends by the second factor. Then we add the 2 products